The nation reflects on the passing of Congressman Gerry Connolly. We remember not just a dedicated lawmaker, but a true champion for Northern Virginia, someone who spent decades in public service fighting for federal workers, for infrastructure and the environment, and who really never lost sight of the people that he served. Joining us now to talk more about the congressman's legacy is Dr. Gerry Sabato, the founder and director of the University of Virginia Center for Politics. Good to have you with us today.
Thank you, Simone.
I wanted to ask, as someone who has been ingrained in Virginia politics for decades, what would you say about Gerry Connolly and his impact just as a Virginia lawmaker?
He was a very significant member of the House of Representatives from Virginia. He got a lot done, and not just for Northern Virginia. He was passionate about many national and international issues, and he followed all of his passions. To have a conversation with Gerry Connolly was to cover about 10 subjects, even if you only had 10 minutes. He was marvelous in that sense. He was a wonderful fellow. He was a kind fellow, very thoughtful of others. I would rank him very high in the list of congressmen, certainly that I've known, not just from Virginia, but elsewhere.
I'm curious, in your view, what made Connolly such a durable political figure? Because look, we saw him consistently able to win and hold his seat, even in some really challenging election cycles.
Nobody worked harder.
Yeah.
Nobody worked longer. And he really cared. That came across to people. It wasn't just an act. He wasn't just blowing blue smoke and adjusting the mirrors. He really believed in what he was doing, and he wanted to get others involved in those tasks, whether they were local for Fairfax County or national for the country or international in places and events that he was concerned with.
Now, when you think of Gerry Connolly, not just the congressman, but the person, what kind of comes to mind here? How would you describe the energy that he brought to public service?
Well, the energy level was very high. I knew him more personally because I taught his daughter Caitlin and his son-in-law all just finished at the UVA Darden School. So they were down in Charlottesville a fair amount, and always delightful to have a meal with, or they would come by my pavilion on the lawn and we'd have a long talk about almost everything. And again, it was the passion that came across. If you were sleepy, you wouldn't be sleepy when you finished talking to Gerry Connolly.
I'm kind of curious too, we've heard a lot about him politically, professionally, but if you could sum up Congressman Connolly's legacy in a sentence, what would you say?
Gerry Connolly was the kind of representative I think the founders had in mind and was the ideal representative. He cared about the people he represented, but he cared about the national interest and where the nation stood in the world. And we have, if anything, too many parochial congressmen, or too many who are too safe and don't care. Well, he was relatively safe, but he cared.
Dr. Gerry Sabato, we certainly appreciate your time and just your insight on someone who gave so much to our country, both locally and nationally. Thank you for your time today. Stay with WUSA 9 and WUSA 9 Plus as we remember Northern Virginia Congressman Gerry Connolly. Coming up at 6:30, we'll have extended coverage looking back at his life and his legacy. And keep checking back with us for funeral information and plans for a special election to fill Connolly's seat in Congress in the coming days.